Assalamu alaikum. So I had my interview in Federal Directorate of Education on 18th July 2022 on Monday. I was to report at 9 a.m. I reached there at half past 8 and was called for interview at 9:05. So there were four people in the panel. One was I think chairperson, two were subject specialist, while the fourth one was mere observer, I suppose. Initially, they asked me about my score in higher education department. I told them that I had got 87, and he said brilliant. Then he asked me about my experience in my college and what kind of experiences I had with younger children. I told them that I have taught in an academy named an academy where I got a chance to teach young children as well. Then he asked me about my city. I said Faisalabad, and then he referred me to the first subject specialist who was a female. She thoroughly interviewed me. She asked me. Unlike other interviews, she didn't ask me what was my favorite genre or what was my favorite novel or poetry, etc. She just outright asked me if I had read Paradise Lost or not. I said that yes, I have read its two books, book 1 and book 9. And then she asked me questions from book 2. I was perplexed because I had not read, but I covered it somehow, and she was satisfied. Then she asked me about Ode on Intimations of Immortality by Wordsworth, without asking me if I had read about it or not. But I, Alhamdulillah, answered the questions very well because I had read it. Then she asked me about Pygmalion, and I had read it as well. So she didn't ask me if I had read it or not. She asked me about Pygmalion and discussed it in thorough fashion. Then she asked me about, I suppose, she asked me some other things. Yes, she asked me about classroom management and lesson planning. I thoroughly elaborated the methodology I use in my classes, and then she asked me about outcome-based education, which we follow in our college, and I elaborated outcome-based education and other features of this methodology. Then she asked me different questions about classroom management and evaluation, etc. Finally, she asked me two idioms. One was when she explained in English, a complete thorough explanation, and then I answered for the idiom that was correct, completely correct. Then she asked me. Jasa this Vasa is English, so I said that when in Rome, act like Romans. So she said yes, it's okay, but is when in Rome, do as Romans do. I said yes, ma'am, both are okay. Then she referred me to the second SS. Second subject specialist said that ma'am has already asked you a lot of questions, so I will ask you just a few questions. And he asked me just translation of a few sentences, and Alhamdulillah, I have so much grip on the translation that immediately answered him. Here he just ended his sentence. He just managed to end the sentence, and I was translating the sentence immediately. Then he asked me about the difference between complex and compound sentences. I elaborated the difference between complex and compound sentences, and then he asked me another idiom, उल्टे हथेली पर सरसों जमाना. So I was a bit perplexed, and I immediately said sorry because I thought that it is useless to think about that. Though, if I had thought for just like 10 to 15 seconds, I could have guessed the meaning because just coming out of the interview room, I remembered that Rome was not built in a day. Anyways, this was the only question which was not answered by me, and they appeared to be thoroughly impressed by me. Then he asked me another question. I do not remember. That was yet again related to grammar. Maybe that was conjunction. No, I think it verb. That was a grammar related question which I answered immediately, and then they said thank you very much for your time. Thank you. You may go now. So I bade them farewell and came out of the room. So thoroughly the experience was good. The interview lasted for nearly 15 to 20 minutes, and I am completely satisfied that they will call me. Obviously, I have also advantage of academic marks and test marks because I have a strong academic record, and my test grades were also better. And I hope, inshallah, they will select me. Amin.